The author states there's three areas of influence on the development of perfectionism. It are child, family, and environmental factors, and that he also theorizes that parental approval feeds onto the children's performance of perfectionism and the development of it, and that the central component of perfectionism on socially prescribed perfectionists, which is the people who think that people in their lives holds too much expectation on them, is most likely to develop in the child. In one of the author's models, the social reaction model, it states that the children who are in a psychological distressed or physically or emotionally abused household, they have a coping mechanism which is the perfectionistic tendency, and if those parental expectations are not met, they have a low self-worth, insecurity, depression, stuff that leads to that. And another model that the author states is the social expectation model, is where they think as if they fail, they are not as talented as they think they are, so that's why they strive for perfectionism. And so it's as a self attempt to like have self-preservation on their self-esteem and self-worth. And also a study that's shown is that a family factor is where the parents do have high expectations on the children, but they're not like not supportive of them. They're not as pushy as they say they are. And there's been a study shown where the parents of the middle schoolers show to have more like expectations on either the male child or the firstborn child. Also, one last model by the author is the social expectation model, and that's where like they inherit the same perfectionistic tendency behavior they had got from their own parents. And so the methods are 15 high school students who are juniors and seniors at a gifted school or academy, and they use a system called the Criton sampling. I think that's what Cariton sampling, something like that. Where they pick students who obviously are in that gifted academy, and two, they have perfectionistic tendencies, and basically they are interviewed in an open interview where they can go into depth about their own experience at home or their tendencies. Okay, so the results are from the social expectation is where they have a sense of if they don't do what their parents desire, they will let them down. So that's where they shoot for perfectionism only from what their parents want and not from what they want. And then another results from the social reaction, which is the authoritarian type of parenting. Authoritarian, and that's where they will receive like harsh consequences from their parents, such as yelling. They say it was yelling, but from like the results from what I read is where like the students would just feel guilty from themselves when they got disappointed by their guardian or parents. Sometimes would be the aunts. So yeah. Okay, and one of the like least important models, I guess, is called the anxious rearing model, and that's where the kids have anxious parents, and the parents are always like worried that they're not doing their best, so they imply like that anxious tendency to their own children. And so in addition is where many of the participants felt like they had like really easy, unchallenging classes when they were younger or like previous years, so they strive for perfection now for colleges, and they don't want to fail for their career or later on in life. Another factor is also the parents, which is the main factor apparently, is where the parents are responsiveness. It has responsiveness and demandingness. I think that's the word. And responsiveness and demandingness is where like the parents have affection and show love to the kids, which is responsiveness, but also have high expectations on the kids, which is demandingness, which is what they want from them. And so authoritarian, which is what most of the parents have, is where they demand, and they just demand high expectation with no responsiveness. And so the the limitation that this research has is that they didn't really go into depth about the anxious rearing model, as it apparently could lead to like sensitive questions and stuff like that.